Guyana's government dismisses opposition charges filed against 2 ministers. And in sport, a legendary captain backs CARICOM's position on West Indies cricket. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, April 20th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
The stock market had experienced jitters the last couple of weeks. Traders had concerns over a possible trade war escalating between the world's 2 biggest economies, the U.S. and China. The United States exports about $10 billion in goods to China per month, but imports about $45 billion, a significant trade imbalance. During the 2016 campaign, then-candidate Trump promised to address the trade imbalance with China and bring down the huge discrepancy.
This month, Caribbean Passport celebrates growth in the tourism sector, with Barbados winning the title of Best Destination in 2017. Grenada promoting Spice Mass. Trinidad and Tobago talks digital transformation, and Antigua and Barbuda heads into their sailing week. This and more coming up next on this station.
Welcome back. The government of Guyana has dismissed moves by the main opposition People's Progressive Party to file private criminal charges against 2 sitting members of cabinet. The charges were filed against Public Health Minister Valda Lawrence and her predecessor Dr. George Norton in relation to a $605 million Guyana dollars drug purchase and the rental of the Sussex Street pharmaceutical bond. Opposition legislator Juan Edgell and Vikram Bharat swore to the charges before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrate Court yesterday. But Minister of State Joseph Harmon says the PPP was seeking to distract the public from the malfeasance charges filed against former Finance Minister Ashni Singh and the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Industrial and Commercial Investment Limited, Winston Brassington. We get more in this report from Capital News.
Government is confident that 2 sitting ministers will be vindicated of charges brought against them by the People's Progressive Party. To the People's Progressive Party members, Vikram Bharat and Juan Edgell moved to the Georgetown Magistrates Court where they filed private criminal charges against Public Health Minister Valda Lawrence and former Public Health Minister, now Social Cohesion Minister, Dr. George Norton. The charges are in relation to the sole sourcing of $605 million worth of drugs from Ansah McCall and the rental of the Sussex Street bond. Ministers Lawrence and Norton are expected in court on April 24 to answer charges. Government's chief spokesman and Minister of State Joseph Harmon in a press release said the charges filed are an attempt to remove attention from malfeasance charges filed against former Finance Minister under the PPP administration Ashni Singh and former head of the National Industrial and Commercial Investment Limited, NISIL, Winston Brassington. Harmon said the PPP is aware that more charges are soon to be filed against other high-ranking public officials who served under the Jack Dew and Ramatara administrations. The charges, the release stated, are as a result of months of intense investigation by commissions of inquiries and evidence gathered by the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Guyana Police Force.
Former Health Minister in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Fuad Khan, has renewed his call for the decriminalization of marijuana for medical purposes. And his call comes as the global community observes International Day of Cannabis, commonly known as 420. In a statement released on Friday, Dr. Khan, who is an opposition legislator and a medical practitioner, recalled his passionate presentation before the Parliament last year when he outlined the economic and medical benefits of decriminalizing marijuana. He said the government's continuing failure to treat the matter as one of national importance has become a serious drawback when it comes to the society evolving based on science, pragmatism, and common sense. He said Trinidad and Tobago has some of the highest rates of cancer, hypertension and diabetes in the region, and if marijuana licenses are granted, the country can begin to benefit from the positive medical benefits, adding that patients with epilepsy, diabetes, cancer, multiple sclerosis, irritable bowel syndrome and other conditions will be able to have access to legal marijuana for their ailments. Khan also noted that while the debate continues on the efficacy of medical marijuana, several major research have been undertaken to understand the positive effects of the substance. He said it is unreasonable and unfair for adults to have the right to legally consume alcohol, tobacco and other legal drugs, but are criminalized if they choose marijuana, a natural herb. Still in Trinidad and Tobago, a 15-year-old schoolboy has been arrested after he allegedly chopped his mother with a cutlass because she scolded him about his schoolwork. Police say they went to the home at Butler Village in Waterloo, where they found the woman with severe chop wounds to her head and chest and with one of her arms almost severed. The student has since been taken into police custody following the incident on Wednesday night. Police say the woman had been found at the house by her husband on his return from work yesterday, and that the student had been found in a nearby village after fleeing the house. The mother has since undergone emergency surgery, and the head of Central Division Senior Superintendent Inraj Balram described the incident as very disturbing. Education Minister Anthony Garcia says the ministry had received a report regarding the incident, and he said the necessary resources and experts from the Student Support Services Division of the Ministry of Education will be sent to the Presentation College. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next. Legendary former Test captain Sir Vivian Richards has thrown his weight behind CARICOM's efforts at governance reform in West Indies cricket. Speaking to the Antiguan Observer, Sir Viv said he believes the intentions of the regional body are genuine and aimed at correcting some of the problems which plague the sport. He said, and I quote, "They are not in any way, in my opinion, looking to run the board or anything of that particular factor. They're just looking basically to address some of the problems which we have in terms of administration-wise and things like that." We saw what happened in Guyana, so no government faction should get involved. And we see that at the highest level, even with FIFA and so forth. So the same applies here to the governments in the region. End of quote. CARICOM is challenging Cricket West Indies' right as a private entity to manage the public good of West Indies cricket. Sir Viv believes it would be better for both parties to come to the table to negotiate rather than fight over the problematic areas facing West Indies cricket. Superstar Chris Gayle dispelled any lingering notions his powers were on the wane by lashing an imperious 100 to fire Kings 11 Punjab to a 15-run victory over Sunrisers Hyderabad on Thursday. The 38-year-old in his first season with Kings 11 after being released by Royal Challengers Bangalore ended with an unbeaten 104 from 63 balls as the hosts rattled up 193 for 3 of their 20 overs at the Bindra Stadium. In reply, Manish Pandey top scored with 57, while captain Kane Williamson got 54, but Sunrisers were restricted to 178 for 4 to suffer their first defeat of the Indian Premier League season. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Until then, have a good afternoon.